You know things are getting real when Gadsad puts on his smolder face. Let's let this play. Start with a laugh for once and not a gag. Although technically it is a gag and we're going to be laughing at a gag, but the Justin Trudeau gag is what I meant. Okay, here, check this.
Hi, everybody. This is Gad Saad. I'm not sure if I should be honored, delighted, or worried that the Ontario College of Psychologists, the governing body of clinical psychologists in Ontario, of which Jordan Peterson was a standing member, I guess, for many years, has asked that he be put through a retraining program to learn, because as a 60-year-old man who's had a long academic career as a professor at Harvard.
I don't know how Gad does these bits without laughing and without smiling. I know in real life he's actually a very happy, smiley, bubbly person. I don't know how he suppresses that so that he can deliver this with deadpan comic perfection.
Harvard, University of Toronto, been a clinical psychologist for many years, best-selling author, one of the top Canadian authors of all time. He needs to be taught how to, behave properly in a non-hurtful way on social media. That's exactly consistent with the ethos of a free society. And I learned that when I made a joke about the French Canadian accent. The society that I've lived in since 1975, and I'm myself a francophone. I learned that I can't make those jokes because...
Okay, we're gonna have to skip to the good part. So he's got to give him his rules. He's got to give Jordan Peterson his rules of re-education.
A great society is if you constantly reject all of the values that have made your society a free
here we go. We're gonna get
and
to
enlightened society. So here are so let me just read you what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the 16 items that will be a fundamental feature of Jordan's re-education program, social media re-education program. And with each one, I will self-flagellate, because one of the things that we agreed with the Ontario College
I have a question right after he begins the first. We'll hear one and then we're going to get on with the show.
of Psychologists is that he needs to show real contrition.
Absolutely.
Real penance.
Absolutely.
A real pathway to redemption.
I love Big
Brother. You can only do that if you feel it. Feel me?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
By the way, he almost
So
smiled.
I'm delighted to report that I've been assigned to serve as Jordan Peterson's re-education tutor. I've made it clear to the overlord of darkness that he must publicly proclaim these positions on social media. Number one, men can get pregnant. Number two, men can menstruate. Number three, some women have 9-inch penises. We know that because a lot of...
Okay, I'm going to stop there, and you'll all go watch because it's classic. My question to Gad, why does he have a whip? Did he go out and buy it for the shtick? Or did, for whatever the reason, he have one of those leather whips? I mean, it's interesting. I'm curious to know, but maybe not, what Gad Saad is involved in. Okay, people, we're going to start off light because we're going to get heavy, and then we're going to get light again. Odd timing, by the way, and I actually screwed up a little bit because I initially started this stream for 1 o'clock, thinking I was going to go 1 to 1:30, cover the madness of the news, 1:30 to however long Chadwick stays with us. Chadwick Moore, the author of Tucker, journalist, columnist, and has just written the unauthorized, I guess it's authorized, but he had carte blanche, biography of Tucker Carlson, which I listened to. The link, the Amazon affiliate link to the book, is in the pinned comment. Someone sent it to me as a gift. Thank you, whoever that was. I got to find out. And I was like, I can't read it, but I'm going to get the audiobook. And I listened to it while fly fishing, oddly enough, or I guess timely enough. It's a great book. So Chadwick is coming on at 1:30. But then I had reached out to Nick Sortor as well to talk about what's going on in Hawaii. And then Nick said, I can come on. I said, let's bump this up 15 minutes so I'll have enough time with you. So Nick's going to be joining us in a minute or two. And we're going to talk Hawaii. Chadwick's going to come in. We're going to talk Tucker Carlson. And then we'll see how much time is left in the day and whether or not I just continue going on with the stories of the day, which keep getting worse. But before we even get into the show, we have a locals community, which is above average. Now, we are simultaneously streaming on YouTube, Rumble, and Locals. We will end at one point on YouTube, go over to Rumble and Locals, and then at one point we're going to end on Rumble and have the exclusive after party on Locals where everyone is above average. So much so that our Locals community came up with, dare I say it, the best merch idea ever. If you go to vivafrei.com, let me see here, vivafrei.com, wanted for president, it's Trump's mugshot shot glass. The mugshot shot glass. And we've got, hold on, let's go here. We got the shirt as well. Wanted for president, but you also got the Trump mugshot coffee mug. So you got the mugshot shot glass, the mugshot coffee mug, and then a shirt. Vivafrei.com, and then you can find a bunch of other stuff there. So we launched it yesterday. I was supposed to announce it yesterday, but I'm an idiot and totally forgot to. So there's that, vivafrei.com for your wanted for president mugshot. And I think I'm done trying to have discussions about politics or Twitter exchanges about politics, because Twitter is not the format. It's not the platform for meaningful political discourse. It's designed for zingers. It's designed for disingenuous strawman, needles, insults, mischaracterizations. That's what it's designed for. I had on yesterday Jenna Ellis and Justin Hart, and we had a fun discussion, even if we disagreed with each other. And now I know exactly where we disagree with each other. It was a fun discussion. Real time, long format, in-person ideal, not on Twitter. It irritates me. Despite everything, I'm a sensitive man. I don't like irritating people. I don't like people getting upset. And I don't like being misunderstood. And I don't like fearing that I'm actually misunderstanding exactly what someone else is saying. Okay, so with that said, I got to show it one more. I love it. I asked my wife to order a couple because it's a 2-ounce shot. So you get 2 of those, and if you do a double, 1.9 ounce wanted for president. Magnificent. All right. So Sortor's going to be here in a bit. We're going to talk about Hawaii. Do we have time for a video beforehand? I think we do. At the risk of immediately... Oh, no. This is what we're going to start with because it's totally unrelated. Is it Mitch McConnell? It's sad and it's not funny. And by the way, there's no political bias or inconsistency here. I never thought making fun of Joe Biden's dementia was should have been a source of comedy, a source of mockery. It's a source of medical reality. And like I said with Fetterman, like I said with Biden, and like I'm saying now with Mitch McConnell, it's McConnell. It's not funny. It's sad. These people are being exploited, and political parties should not be exploiting people who are clearly having serious medical episodes and are clearly medically unfit for the office they're supposed to hold. This is the second time in as many weeks, I think, that Mitch McConnell has had one of these moments, and it's scary. It's scary.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election.
What are my thoughts about what? About running for re-election.
That's
no blinking. This looks like...
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Did you hear the question? Yup, he says.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Penny.
You need more than a minute. This is not a question of making fun of anybody. At some point, Desiderata, the song, you have to roll and evolve with the evolution of life. And now he's fine, apparently. As fine as one can be after having
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Oh, yeah, please speak up because the issue was that he couldn't hear him, right? That's Madam on the left. The issue was not that he just had a heck of a massive episode, whatever that was. The issue was that he couldn't hear them. Please speak up. It's elder abuse, okay? I'm not saying that as a joke. It's elder abuse. That looks like either what they call a mini stroke, TIA, or someone else rightly observed something, the freezing that is associated with Parkinson's disease. Whatever it is, it's not funny. And it's not a question of having bodies fill positions so that you can carry out your political will. It's a question of elder abuse, and families should be coming in to protect these people, not exploit them politically. All right, Nick Sortor's in the backdrop. We're going to get started. There's a surprisingly little on the internet about Nick Sortor. I wanted to know where he came from, how many siblings he has. We're going to see if we can find out. I'm bringing him in now. Everybody, let's do this. Nick, sir, how goes the battle?
How's it going, man? It's
Good.
I thought it was interesting. You're talking about Mitch McConnell. He is my senator, actually, because I am a resident of Kentucky, and a lot of people in Kentucky have been trying to get him to retire for a while. He's been there for a long time, man.
It's astonishing when they show those montage clips of Joe Biden and everything he's been saying in politics for 40 some odd years. It's I don't know. It's insane how long certain people stay in politics and either achieve nothing or achieve total destruction. But that incident with Mitch McConnell, I mean, it is either a mini stroke or it's Parkinson's. It's something serious.
Sure.
So now, look, I couldn't find much online. I was looking for controversies. I discovered you during the East Palestine, and I'm going to tell you, I think you're an absolute madman of the highest order for going down to these places where like the air is toxic, the water's toxic, the EPA is not telling us anything. So let me just go down there, breathe the air, have to drink the water, etc. I won't delve too much into your personal life, upbringing. 30,000 foot overview for those who may not know who you are. How did you become what the internet describes as the accidental journalist?
Yeah. So actually, by trade, I was a software engineer who was working in real estate. I was building real estate technologies. And then, all of a sudden it came along. It was back in like January. I started doing Twitter spaces with Mario Nawfal every once in a while. And, I heard the East Palestine story and I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. This is a travesty. It's a big cover up. And the government is screwing these people. So I decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go, I'm going to try to broadcast this to the world. I had 35,000 followers at the time. So, I mean, it wasn't a big account. I didn't expect I was going to be there for like a day or two, in my opinion, just to try to put out a little bit. I didn't expect the story to get as big as it did. But once I got there, it was super clear that this was, an absolute travesty on every level. The government was, the Biden administration was just trying to brush it under the rug, hope it would go away. Nobody talks about it. If there are no journalists that are there on the ground, which there were not at the time, then what do they have to worry about? They can just basically, curb stomp these people and be good to go.
Now, so hold on. So when I think it's you who described yourself as the accidental journalist, but you are as new to this. Like when I only discovered you through East Palestine, that was your first foray into independent journalism?
That was it. That was the first one. I had never done any sort of journalism before at all.
Now, either I'm getting old, and I think it's the case, but you look wildly young. May I ask how old you are?
I'm 25 years old.
Yeah, you are young. Okay. 25 years young. Professional training? I mean, I know what you did for work, but like education, university, what did you study?
So I actually didn't go the university route. I worked with some people in Louisville. I won't name drop them right now. There's let's just say he's a pizza man, big pizza guy, and he. He was my mentor. Yeah, there's not too many people that you can guess, and so you'll probably figure that one out. A quick Google search will do it. But he kind of got me. He mentored me and got me started in the world of business and building something for myself, rather than having to rely on going and getting a piece of paper from college. And I learned via experience, and that's so I've just been implementing that in the field of journalism as well now.
Okay, so very cool. And we'll get into East Palestine, I mean, a bit, just to see where it's at right now, but also because it's the perfect segue in that we're seeing the same MO from the federal government in terms of incompetence to potential cover-up. And I say potential just to weigh my words.
That's right.
You just up and decide, I'm going to East Palestine to see what's happening on the ground myself.
Yeah, absolutely. It was I put out a tweet. Literally, I asked people on Twitter. I said, should I go to East Palestine, Ohio? I was like, is this, and this is happening? You have this picture of this massive mushroom cloud that was just engulfing this entire town. This small town in Ohio only has a few thousand people in it, right? And they've been suffering because of the, over the past couple of decades, because, manufacturers have been moving out. They were one of the largest producers of pottery in the United States, funny enough, in East Palestine, Ohio, and that manufacturer moved out, and a lot of people have been losing jobs. They've been struggling, and this was just they didn't need this. This just made their lives that much worse, and this is going to end up destroying the town. That was my mindset. And I'm like, okay, these people need a voice. Let's try to give them a voice, via Twitter. Now X, I guess.
And so you get down there, and I mean, give us a bit of what you saw. We've seen the videos of throwing rocks into the rivers and this like oily substance come bubbling to the surface. The cover up, not getting answers. Do we end up knowing what happened with the water? Was it clean? Where did the smoke go? What happened, and what's the state of it now?
So we put a team together. And a lot of us met through X, funny enough. And there were scientists that were willing to come in and spend their own money to take soil samples, to take water samples. We've had actually Tucker Carlson's team. He sent a team in to come and help us broadcast this stuff out. And we were able to find that the water was super contaminated. The video that you're referring to, where you throw the rock in the water and it disturbs the sediment. Yeah. And all that oil, all that those toxic chemicals would come straight up off the bottom. The EPA was trying to hide that. We found that by disturbing the water, and just brushing on top of the water, you weren't getting any of that result. You had to actually. That was by accident, actually. I threw a minnow trap in the water and ended up disturbing the sediment, and that's how we figured it out.
At the risk of asking maybe not the stupid question, but what will be the defense potentially? Well, that it was like that before. It was already a polluted river, heavy oils. I don't know, heavy oils might be the wrong term, but stuff goes to the bottom. Was that a new phenomenon that people were describing? And setting that question aside, we saw videos of dead deer and all sorts of stuff. Was that all new that the locals were saying it had never occurred before?
Absolutely. So the lady that was in the video where, I filmed her throwing the rock in the water, she showed me videos of her kids, which, I will say real quick, her kids have not been back to East Palestine since this derailment and the catastrophe that happened back in February. So months and months ago. And they're not well off by any means. I mean, they're lower middle class and such. And she showed me videos of her children playing in that creek, like jumping in it and running around in it. And you never saw any sort of chemicals coming up from the bottom, no rainbow sheens. That was all new.
And so what happened? You ask is it I'm saying the ETA, it's the EPA.
EPA, yeah.
The Environmental Protection Agency. You ask them questions like, what federal agents are down there? Who's taking questions? And what is their response when you ask them these obvious questions? Is it safe to be here?
Yeah. So what's funny is originally, and I say funny, it's because it's like facepalm. You've got to be kidding me. Why would the EPA not be the first agency to go in? This is one of the largest environmental disasters in recent U.S. history. And, EPA officials couldn't even be bothered to go in there. They basically just told Norfolk Southern, "No, yeah, you can take care of it." The people that created the disaster are now being trusted to, clean up the disaster. And so we kind of forced the EPA to come in there finally. And the EPA administrator came in. He has no qualifications. He's just another, just to be totally honest with you, he's just somebody that, we had a resident there that was yelling at him, being like, "You're a diversity hire," again, because he's not good at what he does. He's not good at answering questions. I had to force him to let me ask him a question because I wasn't a credentialed journalist or whatever. I hear that all the time. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Well, that was one of my other questions. You show up, not credentialed, and you're wet behind the ears and coming from the internet, so nobody's going to take you seriously. Right. Until you start, the truth starts reverberating, which it is now. Then they take you seriously, which might lead to other stuff, which we're going to get to in Lahaina. Okay, and so and the state of the city, the state of the town now, is it basically abandoned?
Well, so there are a lot of residents that have just not come back because they still don't trust. We're still getting results back from soil samples and water samples where the water is still not clean. It's still not clean. And we're talking, we've done tests as far as 13 miles away, okay? Because you had this ultra toxic ash from the explosion that they called a controlled explosion that, traveled via wind and ended up in people's backyards, ended up in all these streams, and it's being washed down the streams. There was a quite a large stream that ran directly next to the train tracks. Okay. So when they started dumping all of these chemicals into the water, it was just being carried downstream. And that's why, we're doing more tests here next week, hopefully, up to 20 miles away. But we keep going further and further and further, and we're still getting these just absolutely catastrophic results from these rivers. And so people are terrified to go back. They still don't trust their own drinking water.
Well, I mean, especially when you see what happened after 9/11, where they said the air is fine, everybody can go back, and then people are still dying of cancer. And we're going to see what happened in Lahaina. I mean, it's not, they're not wrong for not trusting. It's just it's the way to cover up the incompetence. So you're still covering the East Palestine story, the situation, I should say. You're testing the river water. What is the impact on people's drinking water that's coming in through pipes? Are people involved in testing that?
Yeah, so people are involved in testing that. Well, so I say people are involved. It's not our people, because we're not allowed to be. We're not allowed to test the water on our own. We can test it coming out of the taps, but even at this point, we want to know if the water is still being contaminated in the treatment facility, because this creek that I'm talking about runs. That's where they're drafting the water from. So, why are they not letting independent people test the water in the treatment center? That's beyond me, and that scares a lot of people. Why not be transparent about it? If it's fine, if it's clean, let us find out for ourselves. Let us prove it to the people. Trust me, I'll tell them. I want to be the first person to say the water is clean, go back home, everything is safe. I can't do that.
All right, that's going to segue us into the disaster and arguably, but not arguably, criminal disaster in Lahaina. I'm going to end this on YouTube. It doesn't change anything from our end, so everyone hop